Hello, IELTS warriors. Today, we're tackling one of the most important IELTS writing task 2 question types, the two-part question. And we'll use a real IELTS-style example. In recent years, there has been a rise in the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports. What are the consequences of doping for athletes? What measures should be taken to combat this issue? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to structure your essay, answer both parts of the question, and impress the examiner. Let's jump in. Let's begin with why it's so important to understand the prompt. Misunderstanding the question is one of the biggest reasons candidates lose marks in task achievement. If your essay doesn't fully address the question, even the best grammar and vocabulary can't save your score. So, step 1, read the question carefully. Let's consider this prompt. In recent years, there has been a rise in the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports. What are the consequences of doping for athletes? What measures should be taken to combat this issue? This is a two-part question, meaning you have to address both parts. What are the consequences of doping for athletes? What measures should be taken to combat this issue? If you miss one part, you won't fully meet the task requirements. So always identify how many parts the question has and what it's asking you to do: discuss, explain, or give opinions. Now let's break the question into smaller, manageable pieces. Start by identifying the topic. What is the question about? Here, the topic is the rise of performance-enhancing drugs in sports. The task words: what do you need to do? In this case, you need to discuss the consequences for athletes, suggest measures to address the problem. Keywords: look for specific words that shape your ideas. Here, words like consequences, measures, and doping are essential. They'll help you stay focused.
Once you've understood the prompt, it's time to brainstorm. Think of this as collecting the building blocks for your essay. Here's a simple, step-by-step process. Use a mind map. Write the main topic, doping in sports, in the center of your paper. Draw 2 branches, one for consequences, another for measures. Think broadly. Under each branch, jot down ideas. Let's do this together. Consequences: physical health risks, heart problems, hormonal imbalances, long-term organ damage. Professional impact: bans, loss of sponsorships, ruined reputations. Ethical concerns: unfair competition and loss of integrity in sports. Measures: regular drug testing in competitions. Educational programs to warn athletes about the risks. Strict penalties, like lifetime bans or disqualification. Promote natural talent and ethical training programs. Prioritize ideas. Not all ideas are equal. Choose the ones that are most relevant to the question. Easy to explain and support with examples. For instance, in consequences, focus on health risks and professional impact. In measures, emphasize testing and education. Now that you have your ideas, the next step is organizing them into paragraphs. Your introduction will introduce the topic and outline that you'll discuss both consequences and measures. Your first body paragraph will explore the consequences. Your second body paragraph will focus on the measures. Finally, your conclusion will summarize your main points and restate your stance.
Your introduction needs 2 key elements. Paraphrase the question and state that you will address both parts of the question. For example, in this task, in recent years, there has been a rise in the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports. What are the consequences of doping for athletes? What measures should be taken to combat this issue? Paraphrase the background given. You may say, the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports has become increasingly common in recent years. Then state your basic answers to the 2 questions. For instance, you may say, this essay will discuss the negative impacts of doping on athletes and propose strategies to eliminate this issue. Simple, clear, and to the point. Each body paragraph should address one part of the question. In body paragraph 1, focus on the first question: what are the consequences of doping for athletes? The first step in any great paragraph is a strong topic sentence. This sets the stage for the ideas you'll discuss. Here's the topic sentence from our example. The use of performance-enhancing drugs presents significant dangers to athletes, impacting their physical health, professional careers, and the integrity of sports. Notice how it summarizes the main idea and highlights three key areas: physical health, professional careers, and integrity, that the rest of the paragraph will elaborate on. Next, expand on the first point. In this case, it's about physical health. Physically, these substances can lead to serious side effects, including heart problems, hormonal imbalances, and long-term damage to vital organs. Here, specific examples like heart problems and hormonal imbalances make the argument more concrete and relatable. Remember, examples add credibility to your writing. After that, move on to the second point. Here's how it's done in the paragraph. Professionally, athletes caught using such drugs face suspensions, disqualifications, and tarnished reputations, which can ruin their careers and diminish their achievements. This sentence focuses on the professional consequences, showing how these substances can destroy careers. By connecting the consequences to real-world impacts, the paragraph becomes more persuasive and relevant. Now, address the third and final key idea. In this example, it's about fairness and integrity in sports. Moreover, the use of these substances undermines the fairness of competition, betraying the trust of fans and fellow athletes. This point highlights the ethical implications, broadening the argument to show how these drugs don't just harm the individual, they affect the entire sports ecosystem. Finally, tie everything together with a closing sentence that reinforces your main argument. Here's the closing sentence. In addition to personal consequences, it damages the credibility of sports organizations and challenges the values of honest competition. This conclusion adds depth by extending the impact of the issue to sports organizations and the principles they represent. It's a powerful way to leave a lasting impression. In body paragraph 2, tackle the second question: what measures should be taken to combat this issue? This paragraph begins with a strong topic sentence that outlines the main idea. Take this example: to effectively combat doping in sports, stricter measures must be implemented. This sets the tone by clearly stating the argument that stricter measures are necessary to address doping in sports. Next, introduce the first supporting point and provide evidence. Here's how the paragraph does it. Regular and comprehensive drug testing by sports organizations is crucial to deter athletes from using banned substances. The idea is straightforward: drug testing is essential. The following sentence adds evidence. Advanced testing methods, for example, have already helped reduce doping cases in some international competitions. Notice how the example strengthens the argument by showing real-world success. Now, move on to a second point to broaden the discussion. The paragraph introduces educational campaigns. Educational campaigns play a vital role in raising awareness about the physical, professional, and ethical consequences of doping. This shifts the focus to prevention, explaining how education can target athletes, coaches, and even young sports enthusiasts. The key is to expand the argument while staying relevant to the topic. The third point emphasizes stricter penalties. Finally, imposing stricter penalties, such as lifetime bans for repeat offenders, would act as a powerful deterrent, emphasizing the seriousness of maintaining integrity in sports. This sentence highlights how consequences can discourage doping, tying back to the overall argument for stricter measures. A strong concluding point like this helps wrap up the paragraph effectively.
Wrap up your essay by summarizing the main points and restating your stance. For instance, in conclusion, the rise in doping among athletes has detrimental physical and professional consequences. However, with regular testing, education, and strict penalties, this issue can be effectively addressed. Keep it concise and avoid introducing new ideas. That's it for today's lesson on two-part questions. Now it's your turn. Write your own introduction for this question. In recent years, there has been a rise in the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports. What are the consequences of doping for athletes? What measures should be taken to combat this issue? Share your introduction in the comments, and I'll give you feedback.
Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our next lesson. Good luck with your IELTS prep, and I'll see you in the next video.